Admiral Reed stood at the viewport of Earth's orbital station, watching as technicians swarmed over the Defiance humanity's latest prototype starship. Small and unimpressive compared to the massive dreadnoughts of the Galactic Empire, it represented Earth's last hope. "They're calling it a tinker toy in the Imperial Senate," said Director Morgan, joining Reed at the viewport. The Emperor himself laughed when our ambassador presented the specs. Reed's jaw tightened. "Let them laugh. They don't know what we've built." For 50 years, humanity had been under the Empire's thumb. Earth was permitted to join the galactic community, but only as a resource colony. Humans were considered primitive, their technology laughable, their military capabilities non-existent. What the Empire didn't understand was humanity's greatest strength, adaptation through failure. "Is it ready?" Reed asked. Morgan nodded. "Final tests complete. The quantum drive works exactly as designed. We've hidden its true capabilities from the Imperial inspectors, of course. And the weapons system? Disguised as standard plasma cannons. They have no idea." Reed smiled grimly. "Good. We launch tomorrow." High Admiral Krell of the Imperial fleet sneered as the tiny human vessel approached his command ship. The Invincible Asterisk was a masterpiece of Imperial engineering, 10 kilometers long, bristling with weapons, protected by shields that could withstand a small supernova. "They send this insect to negotiate?" Krell rumbled, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence, a sign of amusement among his species. "The humans claim it's a diplomatic vessel, sir," his second-in-command reported. "They request permission to demonstrate some new technology they believe might benefit the Empire." Krell laughed, a deep sound that reverberated through the command deck. "Let them approach. It amuses me to see their primitive attempts at innovation." The Imperial scanning officer looked up from his console, puzzled. "Sir, I'm getting unusual readings from their drive system." "Interference from our own systems, no doubt," Krell dismissed. "Their technology can barely achieve interstellar travel." The human ship, the Defiance was now visible through the main viewport, a tiny speck against the backdrop of stars. "Shall I prepare the demonstration arena, Admiral?" asked the second. "No need. They can show us their technology right here. Not even a human weapon could scratch our shields." Captain Tom Lee sat calmly in the command chair of the Defiance. His crew, 12 of Earth's finest, worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. "They're allowing us to approach, Captain," reported Lieutenant Anna, his communications officer. "No escort vessels. They don't consider us a threat." "Perfect," Lee said softly. "Status of the quantum drive?" Engineer Joe looked up from his console. "Ready, sir. The compression field is stable." Lee nodded. "And weapons?" "Gravitational lance is charged and masked. They think we're carrying standard plasma cannons," Weapons Officer Kim confirmed. Lee opened a channel to the Imperial flagship. "Admiral Krell, thank you for allowing us this demonstration. Earth is honored by your attention." The alien's face filled the view screen, his purple-scaled skin gleaming under the lights of his command deck. "Be quick, human. My patience with your species grows thin." "Of course, Admiral." Lee smiled. "We've developed a new propulsion system. Allow us to demonstrate." He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "Initiate quantum fold." Krell watched in mild curiosity as the human vessel suddenly vanished from his view screen. "Sir, they've disappeared from our sensors," his officer exclaimed. "Some primitive cloaking technology," Krell dismissed. "Find them." "I can't." The officer never finished his sentence. The human ship reappeared, inside the Imperial shields, 50 meters from the Invincible's hull. For the first time in his long military career, High Admiral Krell felt fear. "Quantum fold successful," Joe reported, his voice steady despite the massive Imperial dreadnought filling their view screen. "We're inside their shields." Lee nodded. "Deploy gravitational lance." Kim's fingers danced across her console. "Lance deployed, sir." Fire. There was no beam, no explosion, no traditional weapon discharge. Instead, a focused gravitational distortion erupted from the Defiance, striking the Invincible amidships. Space itself seemed to bend. The Imperial dreadnought began to fold in on itself. Krell watched in horror as the hull of his mighty vessel began to collapse inward, as if being crushed by an invisible fist. Alarms blared. Crew members screamed. "Impossible," he roared. "Fire all weapons. Destroy them." But the weapon systems were already compromised, crushed by the localized gravitational anomaly the tiny human ship had somehow created. His last thought before the command deck imploded was that he had severely underestimated these humans. The invincible asterisk collapsed into itself, becoming a dense ball of matter before disappearing completely into a momentary microsingularity that winked out of existence. "Target neutralized," Kim reported, her voice barely above a whisper. The rest of the Imperial fleet, 27 warships that had accompanied the flagship, hung motionless in space, their commanders watching in stunned disbelief. Lee opened a channel to all Imperial vessels. "This is Captain Tom Lee of Earth Vessel Defiance *. Your flagship has been destroyed. We possess 23 more ships with identical capabilities. The Empire will recognize Earth's independence immediately, or we will be forced to continue this demonstration." The channel was silent for a long moment. Then, one by one, the Imperial vessels began powering down their weapon systems. 3 months later, Admiral Reed stood before the Global Council on Earth, the newly signed Treaty of Seoul in his hands. "The Empire has recognized Earth as a sovereign system," he announced to thunderous applause. "Furthermore, they have agreed to reparations for 50 years of exploitation and a non-aggression pact that extends to all human colonies." Director Morgan approached him after the ceremony, smiling. "Did you tell them we only built one prototype? That we couldn't possibly build 23 more?" Reed shook his head, smiling. "Some secrets are worth keeping, Director. The Emperor's representative asked me how humans managed to develop technology that surpassed Imperial science. I told him it was simple. Oh, we're not afraid to fail. Each prototype that didn't work taught us something new. The Empire never understood that failure is just another word for learning." Morgan nodded. "And now they never will." In the skies above, the Defiance orbited silently, small, unimpressive, and now the most feared ship in the galaxy.